Hello, welcome to Verblin. I'm teacher Oakley, and for the next hour, we will be continuing our series of business English classes. Today's topic, our focus, is on formal business meetings. We'll start out talking about business meetings in general. And then the plan today is to go through the various stages of a formal business meeting. We will also be learning some very specific jargon or vocabulary related to or used in a formal business meeting. We'll go through all the stages of a business meeting and look at very commonly spoken phrases, and we'll try to brainstorm other ways to say it in English as we go along. And hopefully you'll learn a lot about some specific vocabulary and process of a formal business meeting. Okay, let me start off by welcoming students to the class before we kick off the lesson. Juan Diego, hello, welcome.
Hello, good morning from Spain. How is it going?
Good morning, Spain. It's going great. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Okay, hello, Mahmoud.
Hello, teacher.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine with you.
I'm great because you're in the class.
Thank you.
Mahmoud and I, we had some technical problems with the class yesterday, so, or I had technical problems. Anyway,
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Everything seems to be back on track today, so great. Good to see you again. Okay, Hiro has joined us. Hello, Masahiro. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks a lot. Well, anyway, welcome to the class. Herman has also joined us. Hello, Herman.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Morning. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Great. Glad to hear it. Okay. Before we, I'm going to screen share some material. We're going to go through all the stages of a formal meeting, just to kind of kick us off and warm us up, whatever. Let's do a little brainstorming. What, other than a formal business meeting, in which we're going to have, excuse me, in which we're going to have a chair or chairperson who is facilitating the meeting, keeping the rules, and keeping the meeting going and keeping the meeting structured in a formal business meeting. What other types of business meetings could there be? Juan, Diego, just brainstorm. Can you think of another type of business meeting besides a
Yes,
formal chair meeting?
I've been in a lot of business meetings, but only in Spanish.
Okay. What's another type of business meeting, maybe?
Another kind of business meeting. Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Well, for example, there are, for example, sometimes there are business meetings over dinner, over lunch, like a lunch meeting or dinner meeting.
Yes, in different schedules, for example, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes lately we are used to have meetings in the lunch time, and then we don't waste our time, and then we have some sandwich, and we have a meeting. I'm not agreed with that kind of things because sometimes you are thinking about, oh my God, I don't have any sandwich. uh, you are thinking about other things, and you are talking to other people, and you are not
Hmm.
into the meeting, in the real
Okay.
subject of the meeting.
You're not focused on the meeting.
Yes, you are
To
not
see.
focused on the meeting. I
Yeah.
prefer go to focus on the meeting and left quickly.
Yeah. Americans like this kind of meeting, a dinner meeting or a lunch meeting, with often with a client or a potential customer. We like to
Yes.
take them out to lunch and, you know, buy them a nice steak and a
Yeah, and
glass,
it's
have
I
a
think
couple
it's
drinks.
most business meeting for a. If you are with a customer, it's another kind of meeting. I was
Yeah.
referring to a meeting with, for example, all your partners in the
Hmm.
company.
Right. I understand. Okay. Okay. Mahmoud, can you think of another type of business meeting you might
Can't?
attend?
What?
Sorry?
I can't understand.
What's another type of meeting? We're going to talk about formal meetings. We just mentioned dinner or lunch meetings. Any other kind of meetings that happen in
I
business?
didn't formal meeting, dinner. In my opinion, it's very good. Meeting with my client or a businessman, discussing uh, our work. Yeah, I think it's good in the dinner. I didn't
Okay.
uh, I didn't do a formal meeting yet.
Okay. Yeah, be careful to say discussing, not disgusting. It's great to discuss with a client, but you don't want to disgust.
Discuss.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hero, can you think of any other kinds of business meetings that you might have attended or have heard about or whatever? Masahiro? Are you there?
Hi. I think there are lots kind of meeting. For
Yeah.
example, brainstorming, idea meeting, uh, planning meeting, decision making meeting, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
Yeah, brainstorming meetings are my favorite. Not a big fan
Mhm.
of formal meetings. I enjoy brainstorming meetings. Really the only kind of meeting I actually liked. Um,
and escalator pitch.
what's that?
Elevator pitch.
Oh,
Elevator is elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is not meeting.
okay. All right, I see. Okay. Okay, brainstorming meeting. Okay, lunch, dinner meeting. Sure. Okay, specifically. Okay, there's internal meetings, weekly meetings. Often, many companies have a, okay, where are we this week? Like the Monday morning meeting or whatever.
Mhm.
Where are we? What's the plan for the week? Regular meetings, regular staff internal meetings. Those are common. Yeah. Herman, can you think of any other types of meetings?
Yeah, like there are so many type of meeting though.
Yeah.
But to me, let me just say maybe emergency meeting or workplace meeting.
Managers meeting or
Like emergency or workplace meeting.
workplace meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Like
Like for
everybody?
yeah, like for you to be able to meet your employee, your staffs, to talk about your business wise and to resolve the issue that is happening in your company and so on.
Okay. All right. All right. You can have departmental meetings, interdepartmental meetings, with different departments, departmental meetings, HR meetings, kind of meeting that I mostly really hated, where they have all the employees and they announce changes to benefits or hours or employee rules or whatever. Yeah, all right, so great. There you go. Lots of different types of meetings in business, formal and informal. Okay, I'm gonna get to our focus now. I'm gonna do a screen share, and we're gonna look at various stages of a more formal type business meeting and some of the English phrases that we use. Okay. In a formal business meeting, there's going to be a chairperson who basically will facilitate the meeting. In an extremely formal meeting, something a little strange happens. The chair may refer to themselves in the third person throughout the meeting. Okay? What I mean by that is, for example, if I'm the chairperson, I might say, the chair recognizes Juan. Juan, what would you like to say? So the person refers to themselves as the chair. The chair would like to open the meeting by reading the minutes. Okay, may seem a little odd, but it's part of the formality. Okay, first thing to do, obviously, start the meeting. Well, of course. Juan Diego, before a meeting, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the meeting, is it common in Spain to have coffee, water, pastries, maybe little things to eat while people are getting ready to start the meeting? Yeah.
Yes, sometimes it's depend on the hour of the meeting.
Yeah.
It's depend on the finality of the meeting. It depends basically on the statements of the meeting. It is really serious. Maybe we don't have a coffee or anything like that. It is more less formal. Maybe we have some coffee before, but usually we are not used to have something before, or to have a small meeting before the real meeting.
Right. Yeah, more kind of social. Well, anyway, I've seen that many times. People are milling around. Okay, they're just walking around talking to their friends or whatever, drinking coffee, eating donuts, what have you. So somebody has to get the meeting started. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, if everyone's here, let's get started. Could we please start the meeting? Somebody, usually whoever's in charge, will make some kind of an announcement that they're going to start the meeting. It's very common. Let me quickly welcome Mustafa to the class. Hello.
Hello.
Mustafa. How are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Good to see you.
Great, great. Okay, we just opened our imaginary formal meeting. So, okay. Next stage. Of course, this isn't always true. In an internal meeting, you could skip this part, but for example, if you have marketers or you have a client meeting or something like that, it is always polite and correct to welcome them to other members of the staff. All right, some ways to do that, some common phrases you can use. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bob Smith from ABC Company. We're very happy to have him with us today. Okay, some other introductions. It's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Bob Smith. I'd like to introduce Mr. Bob Smith. Notice the way I'm speaking his name. I would probably, Not only would I do that, actually I'm doing a little wrong. Mr. Bob Smith, the marketing director for ABC Company. Actually, I would give his full name with the honorific Mr. or Doctor if he happened to be a doctor, whatever. The honorific, his full name, and then his job title. And the company, finally, would be normal, very normal way to introduce somebody. Or maybe, you know, maybe whatever, there's some government inspection of your business. So, okay, I'd like to introduce Mr. Alan Barton. He's the senior investigator of the Tax and Fraud Division of the Internal Revenue Service. Yeah, okay. In any case. All right. Next, stating the principal objectives of a meeting. We're here today to, our aim is to, I've called this meeting in order to, this one is very, very common. I've heard this one a million times. By the end of this meeting, I'd like to have, Mahmoud, can you think of any others? We brainstorm any other ways to kind of announce the objectives?
What?
Can you think of any others based on these examples, a way to announce the purpose of the meeting? Like these. Can you think of an introductory phrase similar to these?
I can't.
Okay, you can't? Okay. Hero, how about you? Can you think of any other possibilities? There's no one perfect answer. There's probably hundreds of ways to do this. Hero, can you think of another example? Hero, are you there? Okay, not sure if I lost him. Herman, how about you? Can you think of another possible phrase? Hello? I lost everyone. Herman, are you there? Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you, but no one is talking. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Mustafa, can you think of another possible phrase or way to kick off, to announce a transitional or signal phrase to announce the objectives of a meeting?
Maybe I would like to welcome you today.
Sorry?
I would like to welcome you today in order to talk about blah blah blah.
Oh, okay. You're combining the welcome and okay. So really, in order to is your phrase. In order to blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay. You know, it's an objective. So others might be something like, our objective today is to, you know, you can be straightforward.
But teacher, yeah, this is straightforward. Like you, you're just being a little bit direct, you know, when you say that.
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
because you just enter the room and you say our objective is to.
No, this would be after. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get the meeting started, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'd like to welcome Mr. Bob Welsh from okay, blah blah blah, ABC Company. Okay, our objective today is to work out a deal with Mr. Smith's company, ABC, in regards to continuous supply of steel. Okay, whatever, like that. So not the first thing out of your mouth. No, that would be kind of a little weird. Oh, actually, I also forgot, in introducing the possible participants, you should just thank them as well. My goodness. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Mr. Bob Welsh, the finance director for ABC Company. Thanks a lot, Bob, for joining us today.
And maybe you can say, like, thank you for your time for attending this meeting or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would be. It's never a bad idea to thank everyone. A common phrase for taking the time to join us or something like that. Yeah, something right along that lines, Mustafa. I would agree that that should actually be part of the welcoming and introducing.
Yeah.
Okay.
About my phrase, we can say the point of the meeting is because I
Okay.
wasn't understanding clearly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can say it a million. The point of the meeting is another way to say it. Our purpose today is to. Okay. There's a lot of different ways, but really, kind of need to say it. It needs to be said, so that all right, you're reinforcing the idea that we're going to work on this, only this. So don't start talking about the employee parking lot. The chairman says this so people know, stay on topic. Okay. Another thing that I've often seen missed, the chairperson, again, this is the chairperson, the facilitator's responsibility. Somebody doesn't show up or whatever, for whatever reason, you should make an apology, all right? I'm afraid Sarah Watson can't be with us today. She is in Zimbabwe meeting with a client, whatever, something like that, all right? Or you can give apologies in behalf of someone. Look at this English sentence structure here. Okay, I have received apologies for the absence of Barbara Walden, who is in Zimbabwe, feeding rice to the poor. I don't know what she's doing there, but anyway, a brief explanation, something like that. In behalf of, I would like to apologize in behalf of someone is another phrase you can apologize in behalf of someone. Okay. All right. Who can't be with us today? This is this whole phrase here is very common, to apologize for someone's absence. Okay, reading the minutes of the last meeting. Well, okay. Juan Diego, what are minutes?
There are some things in the last meeting. You wrote it down.
Yeah.
And then you have to check if those things have been done or they are pending to do.
Right. Okay. So usually the chairperson will ask someone to take minutes. Juan, have you ever been asked to take minutes at a meeting?
Sorry, I can't understand very well. Could you?
Okay. Have you ever been asked to take minutes?
Yes. Sometimes when I in charge of something, and then you have to explain what the work you've done, that it was told about in the last meeting.
Okay. So, okay. My point is, if the chairman says, Juan, if you please, if you would, please, can you take the minutes today? Of course, you can't say no because the chairperson is the boss. Personally, I absolutely detest, strong word for hate, detest being stuck with taking the minutes. I get into the meeting and I forget to make notes, and then it's terrible. I hate it. I'm no good at it. Yes, Notice the verb to take minutes. Here, minutes means notes. The verb to take collocates with anything to write. To take a message, to take a letter, to take notes, to take minutes. Okay, to take
It's like a
collocates with
little,
writing.
little review of the
Yeah,
news.
that's right. You're basically kind of making bullet points of the main points that come up in a meeting as the meeting proceeds, and then you can review it in the next meeting. That's it. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Here's a couple common ways to introduce those. In a very formal meeting, somebody will read the notes from the last meeting. If it's a series of meetings, which it's always a series of meetings. Something like this. These are common, very common expressions in total. First, let's go over. This is common. Let's go over the report from the last meeting. Very common to add this phrase, which was held on or which was on, to just to clarify when the meeting was. Okay, these are very common. Okay, so you read the minutes, or somebody reads the minutes. Again, the chairperson might say, okay, Bob, can you read the minutes from the last meeting? Hopefully brief, and then it's time to move forward. Here's some very common phrases. This whole thing is, I mean, I've heard this like 100 times. It's very common. The one thing about business English, it's very formal, more formal vocabulary, more formal sentence structure. However, we say the same exact entire sentences over and over again. We use the same sentences in business meetings, the same exact word-for-word sentences in business letter writing. So even though it seems more difficult once you start to get used to business English, you'll see the exact same sentences over and over again. And here's an example. If there's nothing else we need to discuss, let's move on to today's agenda. Notice the use of the phrasal verb, let's move on, often used in meetings. Okay, let's move on to our next item of business. Let's move on to our next topic. Whatever. Okay, very common. Another phrase, sentence I've heard a million times. Shall we get down to business? Is there any other business? Okay, Mahmoud, when would you say, shall we get down to business? When would you say,
What?
shall we get down to business?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Kind of gives away the point. Okay, would it be at the beginning of the meeting, in the middle, or at the end?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea?
You want to mean what? Shall we get down to business?
When would someone say this? At the beginning of the meeting, in the middle, or at the end?
Beginning.
Yes, right at the beginning. This is a way of... That's right. This is a way of getting started. How about the next one? Is there any other business? Beginning, the middle, or the end?
At the end.
Very good. Exactly. Okay. Usually, and very commonly, very normal, in a formal business meeting, the chairperson always does this near the end of the meeting. Is there any other business? Actually, if somebody says, raises their hand, okay, the chair recognizes Barbara. What do you have, Barbara? Barbara may start talking about the parking, employee parking, but the chairman doesn't want to deal with that today. So he'll just quickly, very often, shut down the other business. Okay, let's table that until the next meeting. So when somebody, the chairman, not somebody, the chairman the chair tables something, it means that they're just putting it on reserve. They're reserving it. They're not talking about it right now. They're postponing it. Okay. If you're tabling an issue, table an issue, you're going to talk about it later. So as you move forward through the meeting, the chairman can decide what to do at any point. What can the chair? What an item of business is discussed. Great. What can the chairman do? What might the chairman do? Hero. Hero, are you there? Okay. Hero, are you there? Did the typhoon get you already? All right. Don't know. Herman, are you there? Crickets. Okay. All right. What's going on with you guys? All right, Mustafa.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So an item of business has been thoroughly discussed. The chairman could table an issue. What else could he? If he tables the issue, it means what else could he request that happens with a problem, an issue? What other avenues might he take? What else could he do? Any ideas?
I'm not sure if I understand you correctly, but maybe you mean the conclusion or what's the outcome of the meeting?
I'm not being clear. The chair, after one point has been discussed, the chairman can table the issue, all right, which means nothing will happen until the next meeting. The chairman could call for further study. Okay, he could assign somebody to do more work. So some verbs that to table, to call for further study. He could call for a vote. Okay, I think we have enough information. Let's vote. Let's take a vote. The chair would like to call for a vote. Possibly.
Or we can say like he can consult the issue with the other member, like call for a vote. Is this synonym of it?
Consult? Are you saying consult?
Consult, yeah.
Well, the consult
like
is what you're doing in the meeting.
He take their opinion about it. Oh, okay. So after, this is at the end. So this is at the end. So maybe, yeah, as you said, he can call for a vote or postpone for another next meeting or something like this.
Right. Right. I mean, he could table an issue until he consults with the client further about what we've discussed. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah.
Right. That might be part of tabling an issue because you have to consult with someone. Yeah.
Teacher, sorry, just I had a question. I have a question. You said before, like, can you scroll up a little bit?
You might have to consult the legal department. This happens a lot, actually. Yes. What were you looking at?
Get down. What is get down? Okay, get down. Shall we get down to business? Maybe if we didn't say like, if we don't say like get business to business, shall we get down? Shall we get down? Maybe shall we end the meeting without the to business?
Well,
we erase to business.
Shall we get down? It's a very. Shall we get down? No. Okay. That's actually that's funny. You might, it's a very colloquial phrase. Shall we get down to business? Shall we get down to it? Shall we get down to it? That's also a variation instead of business. However, please don't say only shall we get down. Yeah. That means you're going to start dancing on the conference table.
Oh.
Woo, get down, get down. Woo, get down, get down. No, that's not good. Get down by itself means like dancing, Mustafa. So I don't think you.
Oh, okay.
Shall we get down? Put on some James Brown
Okay.
music. You want to get up? Yeah. You want to get down? Yeah. No, none of that in the meeting. We'll have none of that, Mustafa. Mustafa, behave yourself. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you asked that, so nobody else makes the mistake. It's very colloquial, so kind of like idioms. Colloquialisms are the words mean what they mean, unlike an idiom, but they're spoken in exactly the same order. Okay, so that's kind of a colloquial expression, so it sounds weird if you don't say the whole thing. Shall we get down to business, or shall we get down to it? It would sound weird even if you said, shall we get down to the meeting? It sounds strange to me. It's like when you change the words in an idiom, it loses its sense of, doesn't mean the same thing anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Introducing the agenda. Okay. Juan, I keep giving you the what is a question. Sorry about that. It's just that's where you fall in order. Juan, what is an agenda?
Yeah, it's all the points that we are going to talk about in the meeting.
Yep. Basically, an outline.
You have to introduce all the points.
That's it. An outline of the meeting, the plan, an outline of the plan for the meeting. That's it. Okay. All right. Okay, so another way of introducing or really getting the meeting started is to mention the agenda. This, again, here's another entire sentence, word for word, I've heard 100 times. Have you all received a copy of the agenda? It's just a way of really introducing the agenda. It's a standardized way of really starting the meeting. This means we're really going to talk about actual points now. All right. Also, this next phrase here. Shall we take the points in order? In this order, or you don't even have to say this. Actually, I usually hear it without this. Shall we take the points in order? Okay. The chairman, for reasons of their own, maybe they have a flight to catch or something, who knows what, they may change the order. They may drop a point on the agenda. They will commonly use polite language or indirect language, expressions like if you don't mind, or if it's all the same to everyone here, or something like that. I hope no one minds, but I'd like to change the order. I'd like to skip item 2 for today and table it until our next meeting. Okay. That's common. Last-minute changes to the agenda, additions or deletions. The chairperson would likely speak about them at this point. Changes in the order, whatever. Okay. Allocating roles. All right. Okay. All right, the meeting's now really getting started. You're probably going to talk about who's doing what, just to emphasize, just to lay out the organization so everybody knows what's happening when. Keep it organized and focused. Okay, for example, Juan has agreed to take the minutes. Mustafa has kindly agreed to give us a report on this matter. Notice how we use points here. Okay, Herman will lead in point 1, Mahmoud point 2, and Hero point 3. Okay, so assigning who's talking when. part of follows with maybe a change in the order of the agenda. We're going to skip item 2. So, okay, guess what? Paul, you don't have to talk today. You lucked out. This all goes as well hand in hand with agreeing on the ground rules for the meeting. Who's speaking when? Timing. Okay. Again, the chairperson's in charge of organization and keeping the meeting going and getting the meeting over with in a timely fashion. Decision making, if we're going to take a vote or what have you. Okay. All right, setting the basic ground rules. For example, we'll hear a short report on each point first, followed by a discussion round the table. Okay, round the table. Americans would say around the table. A little British American difference. Americans always say around. Brits say round. Okay. Very commonly, they'll say something about the times. All right, when you're allocating the roles. Okay, Paul will give a 10-minute presentation on point 1. Alice will cover point 2, which should take about 15 minutes. Is that right, Alice? Okay, and then Walter is going to finish up with point 3. Something like that. It's very common to talk about the time to keep everybody focused on getting the meeting over with. Okay. Are there any other ground rules that might be discussed? Hiro? Can you think of any other kinds of ground rules for a meeting? Okay. What happened to you guys? Herman. Hiro, are you there?
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I just was discussing some ground rules for a meeting. Can you think of any other possible ground rules that might be?
Ground rules. Ground rules. The meaning of ground rules.
Okay. Okay. The meaning of ground rules are usually rules. For example, for a meeting, maybe the rules are. It's not like soccer, where the rules are the rules. Everybody knows the rules. Wherever you're playing soccer, the rules are always the same. In a meeting, the rules can be different for different meetings. So and the verb is lay. Lay the ground rules, or lay ground rules. That means you express what the rules are for this particular meeting. So things like meetings that are different, we use this expression, ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
These are the rules for this specific meeting, for example. Okay, maybe I'm taking my children for a trip in the car. We're going on a car trip. It's going to take several hours. I might say, children, these are the ground rules. All right? When it's time to go to the bathroom, everybody goes to the bathroom. We're not stopping every 10 minutes on the way. Snacks will be eaten outside of the car when we take a break. No snacks in the car. Okay, these are the ground rules.
The ground rules is the most basic rules, I think.
That's it. That's kind of the idea. That's right. All right. So in a meeting, the ground rules would include who's going to talk or present, how long, how much time, are we going to decision making? Are we going to vote today? Are we just going? Is it just an update?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. Okay, things like that. Are there any other ground rules that might come into effect? Can you think of any?
Yes, I think maybe please don't interrupt the other person.
Okay.
Between his explaining his point of view or his.
Absolutely. Conduct. I would call that conduct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good one. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. Conduct may be discussed even. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Okay, there's decision making. We may need to vote on item 5. Okay. All right. So finally we get started. Let's start with, oh, here it is, kickoff. I was looking for this. This is another very common, again with the phrasal verbs. Strangely enough, though business language is more formal, it's very fond of phrasal verbs and even idioms. But okay, kick off a meeting is very common. Okay, you might just call on somebody to start. Martin, would you like to begin, please? That's it. Okay, finally, the meeting is really in progress now. All right, some common phrases and sentences. Again, the chairman is trying to facilitate, so he will use these kinds of sentences typically to keep the meeting going and organized. Jack, can you tell us how blah, blah, blah is progressing? Okay, notice the use of present continuous tense. Okay, things that are in action at the time, using present continuous. Also the next one, how is XYZ project coming along? Is coming along. All right. John, have you completed the report on the new accounting package? Okay. So on and so on. Okay, so the chairman will be interjecting sentences to keep the flow of the meeting going, and basically the chairperson will be calling on people to participate in the meeting. Basically, in a formal meeting, if you're in a formal meeting, you just shut up until the chairman tells you to talk. If the chairperson asks for questions, does anybody have any questions about Jack's presentation? You actually raise your hand, just like you do in school. All right? And the chairperson would say, the chair recognizes Mustafa. Yes, what is your question, Mustafa? All right? Okay, so in a formal meeting, basically you shut up. You don't speak until you're called on, or you raise your hand and you're called on. So that's it. Common phrases.
Teacher, sorry.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Teacher, sorry. Sorry. So I have to shut up and not talk and don't even say any word until maybe the chairman ended his speaking. Then I can maybe raise my hand. So even though while he's speaking, I cannot raise my hand, right? I have to wait until he's done.
He will make it obvious when you to raise your hand. Are there any questions about the presentation, or does anyone have another item of business? He will actually ask people to raise their hands if they want to speak. Okay.
Okay.
Not that it always works out, Mustafa. This is very ideal. You know, Bob hates Larry. Larry gives a presentation, and Bob may say, "Oh, that's going to work." Say some sarcastic remark. Doesn't always work perfectly. You know, there are other social things going on, but ideally, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Closing an item. Okay, and we actually use this term. I would like to close this item. By the way, the different points you're covering on the agenda are referred to as points, or more formally as items. First of all, item 1, I think that covers item 1, or the first item. Shall we leave that item or table that item until the next meeting? If nobody has...
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, in the second sentence.
Yeah.
So I will leave that item. It's like to skip
Yes.
or to finish.
Yeah. Not finished, to skip.
Okay, it's to table.
Yes, to table the item. That's
Okay.
right. Exactly.
To
That's it.
postpone or to record some dates about it. Okay, thank you.
You got it. That's it exactly. All right. Here's a tricky phrase. If you happen to chair a meeting, you should memorize this phrase. The chair may say, if nobody has anything else to add, we will move on to item 2. When the chair says that, he really, like I was just talking to Mustafa, he's not asking anybody to raise their hand. He's making it impossible. So he's basically, in a little bit of a sneaky way, he's moving on and not allowing questions. If nobody else has anything to add, on to item 2. John, can you tell us about the new appropriations of material out of China, whatever. It's a way of kind of keeping the meeting going. Okay, there we go. And as I just said, let's move on to the next item. The next item on the agenda is, here's another classic phrase. Now we come to the question of the 2016 budget. Okay, something like that. Very common phrase. Another one I've heard like 100 times. Now we come to the question of employee parking, whatever. And I'd like to hand it over to Mark, who is going to lead the next point. All right. The chair will recognize, they will officially introduce the speakers, who's presenting or whatever. Right, Dorothy, over to you. Okay. There it is. The chair recognizes Mr. Adams. Again, in a very formal meeting. That means it's okay for you to talk. If you've been recognized by the chair, it's your turn to talk. Okay, so we're getting to the end. Summarizing. If it's a good chair, they will briefly summarize what you've done in the meeting. Classic English signal phrases before we close. Let me just summarize. To sum up, in brief. Okay. Shall I go over the main points first? It's a rhetorical question. He doesn't really expect an answer. Quick summary. And again, all right, it looks as though we covered the main items. Is there any other business? All right, now you can raise your hand. Maybe he's got a game of golf to play. So the boss may say, if there's no other business, I think that concludes our meeting. Thank you very much. And he's out of there. It's kind of, again, kind of a sneaky way to allow questions but not allow questions. All right, the other thing that needs to be done, a quick reminder of the next meeting. Whatever, I'll see you all back here again next Monday. If it's a weekly meeting, for example. You might have to work out when the meeting can be, if it's between participants who have busy schedules. All right, can we fix, and notice the verb here, you fix a meeting when you're like setting it up. Can we fix the next meeting? Is Tuesday okay for everyone? Oh, I'll be in Phoenix Tuesday. Okay, when will you return? Wednesday? All right. Will you be ready by Wednesday afternoon? Okay, how's Wednesday afternoon for everyone? Yes? 2 o'clock, let's make it. All right. Okay, so that's fixing a meeting. Okay, always important. Don't forget. Thank everyone again. Thank you. I'd like to thank Marianne and Jeremy for coming over from London. Thank you all for attending today. Thanks for your participation, everyone. And yeah, the chairman will actually say the meeting is closed. I declare the meeting closed. And that's it. Go on to your business. Now, I would like to look at some terminologies specific to voting. What does this mean? What on earth does this mean? Herman, are you there? No? Mustafa, do you have any idea what this means? I would like to move that.
I would like to move that. I would like to move that. What the heck on
Aha.
earth?
Okay. I would like to move that a vote be taken. I would like to move that the item be tabled until the legal department can research the paperwork.
I would like to change.
Okay. The idea here is not the chairperson. The chairperson can call for a vote or can table an item whenever they feel like it. They have control. They're like a dictator. But you, a participant, can make a suggestion that there be a vote or the item be tabled or whatever. You can make a suggestion, and this is how you do it, very formally. I would like to move that. Here, move basically means suggest. Okay? It's jargon in a meeting. So I would like to suggest that the item be tabled, for example. Now, if you do that, interestingly, Mustafa, somebody else has to second the motion. All right? So you hold up your hand and say, I would like to move that we vote on the matter. Okay, Juan, thanks a lot. See you again, I hope, real soon. Take care. Okay, so Mustafa, you move that a vote be taken. I second the motion. I can just raise my hand and say out loud, I second the motion. Okay.
So you just agree with me?
Yes. Right. Somebody in a very formal meeting, if you're going to make a suggestion or make a movement, all right, somebody has to actually say, you have to say this out loud. I second the motion. Okay.
So this is sorry teacher, this terminology related to business, right? Only to business.
Business and, for example, in America, government meetings are conducted in this way. Things like a school board meeting or local alderman, a city meeting with a board of selectmen, especially small local meetings. Well, actually, the Senate. Government meetings do this. Always, actually. Very formal business meetings do this.
Okay.
Okay. The chair can call for a voice vote or a show of hands. You raise your hand if yes or no. If it is a voice vote, the chairperson will say, all in favor, say aye. If you're in favor, you actually say the word aye to mean yes. All opposed, nay. They will say nay, aye or nay. It's only used in these voting, voice vote. For in English, we don't say yes or no. We say aye or nay. Strangely enough. Okay.
Aye, nay.
That's it. All right. The vote is counted. The chairperson will say the motion is carried. It passed. The motion is defeated. It did not pass. It was voted no, voted down, and that's it. And that's pretty good timing because I'm out of time. Okay, and interesting, a little strange. And again, it's very common in American government, even small government, city government, town government, whatever. Meetings are conducted like that. Okay, thanks a lot, guys, gentlemen.
Thank
See you
you.
again soon.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.